tonight we're going to look at a lesson from Psalm 97 entitled God Reigns. And isn't it a wonderful thing to know that God, the God of the Bible, rules the universe? Now, that does not mean that men are not in rebellion to God. That's something that we kind of forget now and then, is that yes, God reigns and Jesus Christ is King, but still there are lots of people who are in rebellion. Satan and his demonic angels are in rebellion, and they're leading that charge. It's not like we as human beings need a whole lot of help to get out of the right way. As we are under God's rule, we kind of want to do our own thing. But yes, God is in control. So everything that happens, it can happen for good or it can happen for bad. Let's just put it that way. We can make things bad or we can make things good. That's just part of the choice that we have. So when David is talking about God reigning, he understands what's happening because he is a king. He's a king. He's got subjects under him. He's got a whole lot of people that he has to take care of. He's got to know God's law, and then he's got to use God's law to keep people moving in the right direction, because a sin is bad in a community or in a nation. What is it? The book of Proverbs: sin is a reproach to any people. Righteousness is sin is a reproach to all people. I forget what it says righteousness is, but it's a good thing. Righteousness. I think it's Proverbs 14:34, if I'm correct. Righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people, but righteousness exalts a nation. So you can see what David was working through, because Israel was a theocracy. I mean, God rules. And even though in our nation, our nation was designed to be a nation that looked up to God, but yet there was freedom of religion, because they were so divided with denominationalism at the time our nation came about, that Protestants and Catholics were fighting, the different groups within Protestantism were fighting. So they tried to quell that infighting that was there, but when they did, they had to open the door to some things that we don't like. So it's up to us as individuals to make sure that we worship the God who reigns from heaven, the one who created this universe. And that's what David talks about. Psalm 97:1, the Lord reigns, let the earth rejoice, let the many coastlands be glad. We ought to be happy that there's someone in control who has explained to us through his word and through demonstrating certain things that there's a difference between right and wrong. And when we do what's right, we'll be exalted as a nation. When we do what's wrong, or as a people, if we do what's wrong, it's a reproach, and we only have the judgment of God to look forward to. Now, Psalm 97, verses 2 through 6, listen to this. Clouds and thick darkness are all around him. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. Fire goes before him and burns up his adversaries all around. That's why we talk about it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, unprepared to meet that God. His lightnings light up the world. The earth sees and trembles. Oh, if man was just like the earth and understood the nature of God and was obedient like the laws of nature are. Verse 5, the mountains melt like wax before the Lord of all the earth. The heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all the peoples see his glory. All the people see his glory. His glory is all around us. We've talked about this wonderful creation. Now, although we can't see God, we can know that God is reigning. We can know that the laws that God set in effect at the very beginning are still in force. We've sent men to the moon a few times. And those laws are the same there as they are here. And that's what they're going to find as they go through outer space. Any place man goes, they're going to see the movie Chisholm. Remember at the end of the movie Chisholm, wherever people go, law follows. But they find out that God has already been there. He's been leading the way the whole time. So, listen, clouds and darkness in the sense of our viewing God are necessary. Necessary because, we're told in the Bible, no man can see God and live. And now understand, talk about God the Father, because we've seen God the Son, or at least some have, and God the Holy Spirit, His works are just all about us. We see Him continue to work around us. But the clouds and the darkness, a lot of that is man's fault. God used to walk with man in the Garden of Eden. He walked with Adam and Eve, but then when man sinned, God says our relationship is kind of ruined. Now later on, the Lord then would talk to man, but when God brought Israel out of Egyptian bondage, when they went over to Mount Sinai and there to receive the law, and God was going to speak to all of them, and God started to speak to all of them, saying, "Here are my 10 commandments you need to follow." And the people said, "No, stop! You talk to Moses, because if we had to listen to you, it'll kill us." And you go look at the account, and that's why God called Moses up on the mountain and gave him the law. Moses was the only one who really had, I guess, the courage to go up on that mountain and speak face to face, so to speak, with God and bring down the 10 Commandments. What a story that is. But man cannot see God and live. Therefore, God's righteousness and justice are revealed to us in other terms, in other ways, like how when He approaches something, what happens? Everything changes. The mountains, say they melt like wax, and there's earthquakes and thunders and lightnings and all of those things, because He is a being of incredible power. It's just there. And the foundations of the earth are shaken as God deals with mankind, deals with this universe. We see the consequences of sin, and we see the rewards of righteousness. We see it all around us. We think of people who do terrible things, and we see judgment come upon them. Now, not all the time. Sometimes it doesn't seem fair. Sometimes bad people get away with stuff, and good people die young. And we can't really fathom it out, but we don't know what God has in mind when those things happen. But we do see God's justice. We see His righteousness going through the world before us. People fear what they don't understand. We've seen that all through history, and I think that's for us too, as human beings. Something new is thrown at us, and we're afraid. New disease pops up somewhere, and we want to put on the mask, and we want to get people, hey, get away from me, don't come around me. We want to find out what this is, and that's just a natural thing because we don't understand it. Once we get to understanding it, then it's not so much of a problem. But what happens, though, when it's something that deals with God? If we don't understand something and we fear it, then we create myths and fairy tales about God and false understandings about God. And when I say myths, remember, I'm using it in the common vernacular of myths, because myths, the real definition of a myth that's used in the Bible is something that talks about what happened before recorded history. before Moses started happening, okay, before man could really know and understand, like with Adam and Eve, what happened in the creation? How did this world come about? And we've got God's story. You know, other cultures have other stories, but those are called myths, and it's not myths because they are untrue, it's myths because that's just what they called them. Now, we understand there's only one true account. We don't have any problem with that, but we use the word a little bit differently than what it was used back then in our understanding. So, they wanted to understand what this was all about, what happened, where did they come from, what was their reason for being here, and where are they going? And so they created these myths to explain from their understanding. None of it is good. Nothing is good like God's understanding. What God has revealed to us through His Word. So Satan will use false religion to control and enslave what we call ignorant people. And I say ignorant of what God's Word says. And it keeps them enslaved in that, and they don't want to move out of it, but it keeps them in fear, where true religion enlightens and emancipates, frees the true worshipers. That's the beautiful thing when we can look at the Word of God and say, this is what God wants, and that's what I'm doing, and God, please be merciful to me, a sinner. The people who say, look at it and say, well, I don't want to do it the way God, I think we ought to do it this way or what. They've got to have a conscience that says, I'm not really doing what God wants me to do. There needs to be some guilt there, but Satan's going to keep them in that myth also, if at all possible, with whatever reasons that he can set forth. So, again, that which man does not understand is proof of God's existence. You say, what? That which man does not understand is proof of God's existence. Sure. What's the big philosophy that goes around today? What is it that people are setting forth, and everybody, oh, we shouldn't be doing secular humanism, right? Secular humanism. That came along a long time ago, and the foundation of secular humanism is that man is the measure of all things. Have you heard that? Have you heard that? Surely you've heard that. Now, that's what the secular man is the measure of all things. But if man is the measure of all things, as the secular humanist says, then all things ought to be understood, should they not? Man is the measure of all things. We ought to understand everything. Do we understand everything? Absolutely not. We're finding things about, brothers and sisters, that's evidence of God. Either that or the secular humanist is believing a myth. A myth, something that he's made up because he doesn't know and he doesn't understand. He's ignorant of God's Word. If man is the measure of a tree, how did man make the first tree? Evidence of God in God's creation. If man is the measure of the sea, how did man cause the seas to come together? Didn't do that either, did he? See how it works? So if everything was made, no. God tells us everything was made for man, not by man. And that's a key to understand. That God made. We may not perfectly understand God, but we ought to know that we have a creator somewhere. And if he has spoken to us, and we believe he has in the Bible, then we ought to be looking to him for the answers of why we're here, how we got here, why we're here, and what we're headed for. So the measure of all things is the creator of all things, and that's the God of heaven. Psalm 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. The firmament, the heavens declare God's glory, not man's glory. We haven't figured it out yet. The firmament shows God's handiwork, not ours. We didn't put any stars in the sky, did we? Absolutely not. So, just a basic understanding of what God has done and where we are would help a lot of people to understand about God, but not give the total revelation that He has set forth. But when the Creator is rejected, human beings lose their foundation. When we say there is no God, that's just a myth that somebody created, that some God somewhere did this. When we lose the foundation, we've got nothing to stand on. Where do you go? And again, asking those questions. That's why we would ask those questions. If man is the measure of a tree, how did man make a tree? You don't have a foundation. You can't go any further than that. Psalm 97, verses 7 through 9, all worshipers of images are put to shame. And a secular humanist worships what? The human being, right? Man is the measure of all things. So, all worshipers of images, man's the image of God, so they worship the image of God rather than worshiping God, they'll be put to shame. Who make their boast in worthless idols, worship Him, all you gods. Zion hears and is glad. That's when Israel was doing the right thing. And the daughters of Judah rejoice because of your judgments, O Lord. And that's the way we ought to be. God has the right to punish me. And God has the right to bless me. I don't deserve to be blessed. I deserve to be punished. But with His mercy, He'll deliver some blessings to me. Verse 9, for you, O Lord, are most high over all the earth. You are far exalted above all gods. Oh, you mean there are other gods? No, that's just the way they talked back then, wasn't it? That they called not only God, Elohim, God, but they called the demons gods. And they called kings gods. And they called judges gods. A mighty man. But again, it comes out to the context. How do you use it in context? And if you take it out of context and you make human beings the ones that are your literal gods, sacred humanism, man is the measure of all things, then you're worshiping an idol. And it's the same with the demons. The demons were created beings. They went off, they rebelled against God the same way that man did. And worship them. And some people do. So incorrect perceptions of the universe lead to incorrect assumptions about God. If we believe that the universe has always been here, which science says it hasn't, but if you believe that it's always been here and always will be here, then what are you going to do about God? You don't need God anymore, right? You're just going to live, you're going to die, and when you're dead like Rover. Get all over. It's just, wow, that's really hopeful, isn't it? Polytheism teaches that there are gods over each and every aspect of nature. God of lightning, God of thunder, God of sun, God of the moon, God of the planets, gods of just everything around you is a God. There's millions, maybe billions of them. Where does that take you? So it takes you away from the one true God to all these others. And remember, Paul in Acts chapter 17, as he's going through Athens, Athens was a city that was very cosmopolitan, so they had little shrines built. They worshipped Athena, but they had little shrines built for all the other gods that you could go, you could offer some incense to. Like you see out along the road here, light a little candle, put in there, be sure to put a couple bucks in there at the same time. But they even had what the unknown God. Paul used that to talk about the God of the heavens. Here's the one. The unknown God, well, you need to know Him. because he's the one who created heaven and earth. You've gone into all this other stuff. So, polytheism takes us away from the one true God. Atheism says that there's no God over nature, or nature is its own God or creator. Now, they wouldn't admit that, and atheists wouldn't admit it, but that's what you have to do. You know, nature's its own God, creation. But it wouldn't be creation, it just is. So they worship the earth. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a tree hugger, right? But if you put a tree above a human being, if you put a spotted owl above a human being, then you've got a problem there. Not that the human being is the measure of all things, but human beings created in the image of God. And there ought to be some respect there. But if you don't respect God, how are you going to respect a human being? You're not going to. We see real order in the realm of nature. And that order, we talked about that before, the laws of gravity, the laws of electricity, whatever. You know, we're even beginning to understand weather pretty well. But, you know, I think they're up to about, what, 30% predicting the weather around here correctly. That's not bad. But they're trying to understand it. But again, as they understand it, God's been there. God put that law into effect. It's just, Solomon says there's nothing new under the sun. You just got to discover that what God has put into nature. And we're glad that the laws of nature are so very consistent. But again, the laws of nature are an extension of God's rule over this universe. How could it be a law if it just happened and was accidentally here, like gravity? How could that be? It couldn't be a law, it's just an accident. Laws are not accidental. Laws are purposeful. Laws have a design behind it. Laws are thought out. Well, they used to be thought out. I'm talking about, yeah, God's laws are. Man's laws sometimes aren't. Okay. A proper understanding of the order of creation brings gladness and rejoicing. I'm glad there's a God in heaven who's in charge of it. Because I don't want Charlie to be in charge of it. And Charlie doesn't want me to be in charge of it. You know,
I don't want to be.
And you don't want to be. But, you know, and I've said it before, there'll probably be people in heaven that I don't think ought to be there. And there'll probably be people that won't be in heaven that I thought should have been there. Because I'm just a human being. And you know, I don't know what God knows. I don't know what the other person knows. So, you know, that's a good thing that God's in control. And the only thing I have to do is this is what God says. This is what God has told us. So, this understanding of the order of creation in order to bring us gladness and rejoicing, it's more than just accepting what the Bible tells us about creation. And there are a lot of people, you know, like that. And if you go back, have you ever seen the movie The Wind? It was about the Scopes monkey trial. The creepy, no. And you can look it up, you can find it. But there was, back then the people were fundamentalists. And that word fundamentalist, sometimes we misunderstand what they're talking about. And a fundamentalist is somebody who expects you to live like they believe. Right? Now they can't explain why. And that's where the trouble was with those in the Scopes monkey trial, even though it came out on the verdict came out on the side of the ones fighting for creationism and God. They couldn't explain it because it was a fundamentalist culture. They didn't know why they believed it. They couldn't put it in order. They couldn't argue it, debate it. It just is because it's God's Word. And that won't work for a lot of people. We've got to know why it's true and how it's true. Now, we don't understand everything perfectly, but when we start there with that foundation that the order of creation brings gladness and rejoicing, and when we move away from that, we have sadness, and we have mournfulness, hurting, and such. Then we begin to see a little bit different terms of looking at God. And when we put it in order and show the evidence from the earth, how, this is what God did. Why is this like this? The Bible tells us that's the way God did it. And even in the realm of archaeology now, there were things that people say, oh, that's not true. And when we dig this up, you'll see that that's not true. But the Bible says, and they dig it up and they find, what? The Bible was right. God's word was right. So, let's try to understand as much as possible. It is an understanding of how the creation event was purposed, planned, and performed in a grand display of wisdom and power of the Godhead. That's where it leads us, understanding God. When we understand the things about us and how intricately detailed things are, then we begin to see the power of God. God's commands creating the universe were heard and obeyed. It's man who was made in the image of God with the, the God-given right to either believe or disbelieve, to obey or disobey. That's where the problem lies, isn't it? With us as human beings. So in understanding these things, once we understand it, then we'll exalt God to his rightful position and say, God, I'm going to do it your way. God, you're king. You created this. You're smarter than I am. You're more powerful than I am. I just want to submit to your will. So listen, as we close up, 3 practical truths stem from a belief in the God of the Bible. And that's what Psalm, I got 7 to 10. And I think it's 10 through 12. Sometimes when I do them, I paste and copy, and I just didn't get the 7 off of there. I'll take it off later. If it makes any difference to anybody. But 10 through 12. Oh, you who love the Lord, hate evil. He preserves the lives of his saints. He delivers them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright heart. Hey, you want peace? Or you want light and you want joy? Here's how you get it. Be righteous and be upright. And that's what God will give you as a blessing. So to love God means to hate evil. And sometimes in the Bible it says eschew evil, the old King James. But there'll be words like that. And and that's what I talk about with homologia, confession. You got to say the same thing that God says. So that means we have to hate the same things that God hates. And God hates sin. When we get to the point where we hate sin, we'll be a little closer to God and knowing what God desires. Secondly, God blesses those who worship and serve him in a committed covenant relationship. What's wrong with the world today in a lot of ways? People, a man and a woman cohabitate, and they're not in a committed covenant relationship. So they have nothing. They don't have a foundation. So when it crumbles, they just walk away from it. You know how many times my wife and I argue with one another, yell at one another, scream at one another? Not really. I do scream. She does the yelling. But if you don't have a foundation, things like that can get out of it. And it's just not one of them. We got to get back to the concept of covenants and what they mean. When we give our word and make a vow. A committed covenant relationship means to trust and obey. We trust God, we obey him. It's hard to be around people that you can't trust, right? We can trust God, but can God trust us? That's where the key comes. So we've got to be trusting, obeying people. Third, knowledge and gladness are sown like seed in righteous believers. There's a multiplication of the fruit of the Spirit. So we talk about adding the fruits of the spirits, but really, it's multiplication. It just keeps coming. Love, joy, peace, patience, godliness, kindness, brotherly love, self-control, all those things. It just keep get one, and here comes another, and then it just multiplies exponentially. But it's the same fruit, just more coming into our lives. And what happens when our lives get filled up with it? It's like a cup being filled up, and it overflows. So we got to be filled before we can overflow. Conclusion, Psalm 97, verse 12. Rejoice in the Lord, O you righteous, and give thanks to his holy name. The righteous rejoice in the Lord and are thankful for his holy nature. I'm thankful that God is not like Satan, that he lies, deceives, and he tempts. I'm glad God is not like that. We'll see if we have the wrong God, that's what we end up worshiping. And that's what we would desire, and that's what we would want to be like. So here, this is the basis of worship that is pleasing to God. The righteous rejoice in the Lord and are thankful for his word. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Blessed yours, if you have a need, let your request be made known as we stand and sing together.